this. Is that not okay? So now we're in the reading segment. Energies, donation-based readings.
I guess we should turn this a little bit.
I'm coming. Give me a second. I want to get a t-shirt or something like that.
I have to move this back because of the nature of things. Hey, what's up? Hey, Adara. Hey, Kate. Hey, Daria. How are you doing? Did you get tested last week with everything coming at you? Who got Saturnian energies? We just how should we say it? We just unmounted our surfboard of Saturn. How are you guys feeling?
So I have to explain that also that people know what's going down.
Sure.
So I'm going to move the cards a little bit in the outer field. And we will work as we play.
I feel the same way, Daria.
So, energetically, the tests were hard this month. So since the 28th, Saturn is going direct. Jupiter will go into Sagittarius, meaning be about your business and be with the aim like Hawkeye. Like, concentrate on that. Because what this month was showing us was we were tested. We were slammed. We were...
Anubis came.
Yeah, Anubis came. And Anubis is the shackle god. And it's nothing evil and nothing bad. It's basically an energy that tests you and asks you who you are before you can cross the river and ascend, basically. So they try to ridicule you. They try to pin you down. They try to create a reality and draw you into a reality that's not your own.
They try to attack you. They try to humiliate you.
With everything they have.
They try to pull you into negative vortexes.
Yeah, anything parasitic will speak to those people that are susceptible to those energies,
right.
More or less.
Right.
People like us, basically what's looked at is your character. How do you respond to a situation? So if somebody comes with blades and you come with blades, well, then you are no better than who's coming at you.
Well, that energy is called grace, which I'm so grateful for Orion Council channeled messages, is they talk about the energy of grace in my first book called Orion Council here. And grace is also known as mercy.
Yeah.
Remember that song, Mercy, Mercy,
Yeah,
Mercy?
yeah.
And that is the energy of Avalokitesvara, also known as Kuan Yin, Bodhisattva beings, which I've been researching for the upcoming online class this autumn called The Spiritual Planes and Dimensions, where I explain how we ascend, basically, which means you become enlightened and you become bigger and your vessel gets filled with energy, spiritual energy. And when you're having this, we know that the masters got tested. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And through some recent channelings of Starseed channelings, is with the masters, there were collectives working through the masters. So you betcha, if you are a channel and a vessel for a collective of goodness, I can only imagine that some beings are portals for badness or for misaligned souls or whatever, archonic. And while our focus should not be on them, obviously accepting something as a reality helps you to integrate the process. I mean, help you to integrate the experience. And so we've gotten help from our favorite astrologers. So he mentioned Leo King. And Leo King was mentioning Saturn. Everyone's talking about Saturn going direct after many years.
Yeah, Saturn is a reward planet, but it's also a punishment and reward system. And I hate to say it, but Saturn watches you when you struggle, how you conduct yourself in the struggle. Is everybody else being blamed and attacked with because you can't get it together? And if you keep it together in times of hardship, Saturn rewards you because that's the sharpness of the mind and the focus that you need to be successful and in integrity in your business. And that governs everybody that is in this dimension here right now, on the planet right now. You're here and you got to go through this grid. And it's a behavioral construct of a dragon mesh that will decipher and realign you whether you are on your path or not. And something clicked with me what the Leo King said. He said that in this ascension game, you are here to be in your purpose. So if you're not supposed to be a car salesperson, you're supposed to be an herbalist or a Reiki healer, then you've got to be a Reiki healer or an herbalist. And trust me, it'll be effortless. Herbs and secret medicines will just fly to you because you've been that in your past life, and your soul came here to conclude this in this ascension process, which is also partially an ascension. By ascension, meaning you getting parts of yourself back fractally that rightfully all belong to you, as in Reign of the Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones. The being got split into 12 beings. And the head was number 13, and it was a hive mind. And when they landed in the density, there were 13 beings. When you had to go back home, they all had to go back into one. Watch Reign of the Crystal Skull and watch Unearthing Nazca on Gaia to see the parallels, what we're finding here, what's belonging together in spirit, in a spiritual sense. What
I want to
makes
answer
us.
the question.
Yeah.
I want to say Ra, Peru, Horus, Elohim, Lyra. Also, hold up, three more that's in my sigil. I'm trying to remember. Aten and two other ones.
Vaheguru. Well, I want to explain that real quick because this is interesting, and that pertains to what we're talking about. In the pantheon of gods, is what we call gods, is and thank you for thanking us and being a nice person. We always look out for people that are nice and in resonance, and that is inspiring what Pastor JC is saying. So, gods are avatars that on this planet have, before you come in, realized themselves, thus unfolding the magic and the CDs and the dormant self-aligning software codes in them to be that magical, like Buddha, Jesus, the masters of Viracocha, the leaders of Tikal, Pakal, Wotan, the Viking god Wotan, Zeus, Hercules, all of these.
It's a fun game because it's the same beings with different names.
Yeah, same
That's
beings
the
with different
funniest
names.
thing.
Is Hermes Trismegistos, the triple-fold secret guy. Ea.
Ea was number 6, and I had one more.
Yeah, so these beings had superpowers because they were living more of a realized version of themselves.
Helios.
So imagine we're living 3% of ourselves realized. Now imagine somebody, let's give him 35%. He would be at the Jehovah level or Jesus level. These are the gods. These are not the supreme, most high royal. That is source. And that leaves the gender area because that was introduced by the reptilian masculine influence, as we have learned yesterday. There was a lot of masculine influence of the masculine god and the masculine power that came in that way.
Yeah.
Source is more feminine, but actually has no gender. But source is a feminine appeal. Source, the supreme, most high, El Elyon, from the ancient Hebrew words, from on high, are the supreme source where everything comes from.
Oh, baby.
And you are God, meaning, and that's in the Apocryphes when Jesus mentioned that, and the Vatican to this day doesn't want to allow that in, but he said it. He said, ye are gods, children of the Most High. So that Most High that he mentions is the governing source that births the soul. So the oversoul, which is your highest version, the highest aspect of yourself, is Goma Oz Duba. I think it's the creative, unique, and another word, I would have to Google it. I forgot, either as in wonderful.
But
That
it
is
gets so big
that would
out there. It gets
yeah
very big.
yeah, and I'm not even breaking down the dimensional templates and how many oversouls and oversoul
'Cause-
connections are there.
Mhm.
Let me finish this real quick. So it's within itself is the highest version of yourself is God. That is you. That is the light that will speak to you, that will judge you, that will evaluate you because you have decreed it. And that's past all the religion. Understand, Earth is billions of years old. So don't trust one belief system into one religious book that covers, what, 6,000 years? That's not a fragment of where we come from. Not even close to explaining that. So,
Can I tell this card right now because
okay.
it's so good.
Okay.
All right, good one. This upcoming week is Orange Dragon, brings soul families and communities together.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth dimensional orange dragons, flames of joy, warmth, acceptance, orange navel chakra open, spreading joy and oneness. New golden age soul families groups drawing together helps light people up so they recognize each other, enjoying a sense of belonging. They bring fifth dimensional communities together where people cooperate, help each other, and practice harmony and oneness. Many of us need to work with them to bring this about. So if you have seen 2222, that signifies, I've been interpreting this for 13 years. Okay, so twos for me mean you're a pairing. When you get twos in the tarot, that's a relation card. So you and somebody else, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a business relationship, whether it's your family, whether it's your partner, whether it's your friend, your lover, whatever, your neighbor, somebody assisting, it's a co-creation. But this one is about communities. So look, maybe you get invited to some kind of group, or maybe today we're already bringing forth a fifth dimensional collective consciousness here with each other, or you will be looking at researching online communities, considering your next vacation where you're going to travel to in a retreat with some people, like-minded people, or you can start recognizing the people from the soul group, which is a fascinating concept. So people have issues with terms like twin flame and soulmate, and there's all kinds of stuff. But now, as he was describing the Most High, I'm describing a spiritual family through this card. So whatever you want to call that is, I found in my studies that love seeks itself. And in the afterlife, we supposedly recognize who's in our soul group. And if you think about it, in the next dimension, we begin to manifest that which we're vibrational equivalent of. And once you go into the astral plane, the world forms around you according to your beliefs and your thought forms. Let's say you've had earthly incarnations with one person, I don't know, 100 times, maybe 1,000 lives. Don't you think just by nature of vibration, you will manifest that reality where you are both simultaneously existing? If you go visit the astral plane a lot, there are astral kingdoms where you can form worlds upon worlds. So it gets really very interesting, and I hope that you guys a very happy card. But since it's an orange dragon, it's connected to second chakra. So second chakra is a color you might want to have in your bathroom. It's a color it helps you to let go, but also create and manifest, support yourselves and others. So balance. So keep in mind next week, if you're meeting soulmate, balance your money and your relationships. Okay,
so Daria Gilbert.
Do you have a question? Do we have because we have cards.
Yeah, you pick whatever you want to pick.
Card.
Yeah, you pick whatever you think.
It depends on your question which card to pick, but the liquid crystal.
Yeah, if people want micro readings, just say general reading.
We're gonna assume
or specify a question to a topic, and then we'll see what we can lean on. Yeah. It's funny when people ask, like, is he cheating?
They don't really do that in my chat. They do
Well,
that on
some people ask me
Orion.com.
like,
They all ask
is he
that.
faithful? And I'm like, you really want to ask that? Because I'll tell you what's going on. So don't ask that, actually. Because you asking that is already actually answering that. It's just fun. It's just fun. We all know, we actually know, we know. To a degree, your oversoul
Dave, I was going to
knows.
do the reading.
Do the
Just
reading.
relax.
Do the reading. Do the
I will
reading.
share my Okay,
Yeah.
I want to do it psychically and close my eyes.
Do it. Go in.
While you pull the card. So let me say it first, okay? Because that's always more fun, babe.
Okay, you say it first. I'll pull a card and then see how this relates.
That's always more fun.
I already picked the card.
Okay,
Let's
don't
see.
show me the card. Just don't
No,
show me the card.
No. Hewing.
Okay, so
What up?
oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna try to read her, okay? Oh wait, actually my purpose and love, okay.
Oh, that's a whole lot of.
Okay, Daria, the first thing I'm hearing is letters. Letters. These could be written letters, as in big letters, or correspondence, Archangel Gabriel. Also, Daria, I feel you're sensitive to what other people are experiencing. So for you, minding what's your frequency? These are just coming through first. I know you asked a question, so I just want to say this for everyone here, is if you're pulling oracles and you feel compelled to pull like 2 or 3 cards first, sometimes Spirit wants you to read those cards before they answer a question. I notice they can do that with really high level decks. Okay. All right, so as far as the letters and communication, I feel that you should be mindful of communicating other people's information. So I feel there's a tendency, maybe there's a strong mother-like figure in your family where you might find yourself speaking her thoughts. And so this is why I think the letters has to do with, with your personal coming to terms with your thoughts. And one second. And celebrating your ability to know and learn and do your own research. So I'm trying to understand what the letters have to do. Maybe it's a group of letters, or a group of, like, a book that consists of letters that you're studying that is working with your throat chakra. So this has to do with the 5th chakra is coming up. You're speaking your truth, your communication, and how you project your reality. And so, babe, what's your card for Daria?
Okay. Silence. It's the Chrysocolla. If you don't have that crystal, get that.
Chrysocolla.
Yeah.
And may I have this card to show, please?
A, B.
Oh.
Not 7 on me.
Okay, I have to get my phone because sometimes I have to look at it.
Somebody paid in rubies.
Rubles.
Rubles? Yeah, Orion Council is different than the Orion Group, real simple, because see, I channel the Ra Collective, and there's some things that in the Ra material that need to be revised that are incorrect. They're fragmented. They're also distorted, which is what the Ra Collective mentions. So there's a tiny group that's negative. So yeah. So not all grays are negative, not all reptilians are negative. I myself don't deal with those entities. Like I don't have negative aspects and destructive entities trying to make amends coming through me. Some channels have that, and that's why it's called counsel, or you want to heal or therapy. But Krista talks with a group that they come from the octodes, and they're amphibious. Yeah, they're amphibious beings, and they are peaceful beings. So Orion has a bad name. It's like, all the Pleiadians are such and such.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Sirians are
everyone in
here.
the
The
constellation
Arcturians
is
are very
bad.
high. Like there's this hierarchy of, everybody has groups of people that are malfunctioning. I haven't heard of Arcturians gone bad.
Okay, Moose, but let's answer Daria's reading, please.
Daria's reading talks about what? Silence. Activate the goddess anew. The feminine self needs attention. Feminine power needs attention. The expression as a female needs attention. You're channeling something. You're bringing something in. What is that? You're scribbling or art. You're channeling something. The
That's
ocean.
Letters, then.
The Orion constellation sends a signal, especially Betelgeuse.
What
is sending? Yeah.
Babe, it said Betelgeuse.
Krista always thinks that she can't believe the stuff that I'm bringing.
JJ Hertalk mentions the
Betelgeuse
council by
sends
Betelgeuse.
a signal to her.
So she's connecting
See,
to the
are you
council.
blown away? My stuff is no joke. I'm telling you.
Surrender.
Especially Betelgeuse. Surrender something that you're fighting. You need to surrender. Look at your own truth. Look at other people's truth. Do not let your truth be diluted by other people's truth.
Right.
Compassion. You need compassion for somebody where you're like,
tolerance, patience.
Yeah, tolerance means you're tolerating. What are you tolerating? It's really not a good feeling. It's like you're allowing. How much you are allowing.
Putting up with something. Patience with yourself. The Divine Mother. Read Isis. So I said throat chakra, and it's a blue card.
Yeah.
But why is it turquoise?
Well, that's the actually ascension energy. That's
the
pretty high.
starseed color.
Yeah.
It's in the auras of the starseed.
Joan of Arc. There's something with your female reproductive system and something regarding pregnancy. Either you had complications or there's something going on that is not in alignment. So look at that. That has to do also with you're not being ready or not accepting something here, and that creates a distortion in the reproductive system. I don't know, fallopian tubes, uterus.
Well, the card said sacral chakra.
Is there a stinger or something? I don't know how you channel your sexual energy, but there's something that's not really like where it's supposed to be. It's not super bad, but it's a little bit off course here. So usually I'm right with that stuff. Especially when it comes to females and that stuff, that's rarely comes in. Let me see. It says it is possible that you developed a dependency on the masculine methods of living. It is time to step back in yourself and trust and feel what really resides in you. Release the attempts to control and change the external world. It's more as how you react and respond.
You might want to try yin yoga, for example.
Yeah, the goddess is your doorstep. Will you take her hand? Real change is that which leads to the discovery of the divine self. So you must change from within. Nobody can do that for you. Sit a while and recognize your greatest achievement. Not in the world. It is what you sacrifice to be with the world at birth. The crystal chrysocolla, it's time for inner truth that if embraced will lead to inner peace and the birth of a new divine life for us all. So yes, some change that's required to come from you. Battles are best fought within the self. Anyone is ever to be victorious and the world return to peace. So beat yourself and come to peace.
I hear also in my head,
and
I hear the goddess Nephthys, and I'm just going to tell you what Nephthys represents.
Yeah, in silence. You need silence around you. You need time out where all of this blah, blah, blah stops and it's just quiet. And then listen to your higher guide and your oversoul. Just listen to what's coming in. Write it down.
Okay, yes. So Nephthys was worshipped as goddess of mourning, rivers, like grief, rivers, the night, service, childbirth, mothers, the dead, protection, the home, the hearth, coffins, burial, and air. Depicted as a kite, usually a woman with falcon wings, symbol of protection. Yeah.
So
Now
Daria
it's
said
the
she pulled cards on pregnancy, so I'm on the money.
Yeah.
I'm right. So there's something there's a potential, but I'm getting not yet. And don't rush and don't force.
That's helpful because that's her love thing.
Yeah, that is
That
like
answers her
you
love.
can't force it, you can rush it, you can. It
I
has
just
to
feel
be
this is a
making sense
highly-
where you are.
I just feel the high spirituality for her is right now. It's time. She's going to a very high end level of awareness. And this might sound funny, but I feel like green crunchy vegetables will help you for your physical body. So you might feel like you want to eat really healthy this next week, and just tread gently, like where you're walking, tread gently, because it could be something is moving through you, particularly through your chest and stomach area, like an energy bubble. And that opens up the lower chakras to receiving. So
yeah, who's next?
Okay, next is Nadoka Divine, who asked us a question. If you scroll up a little bit.
Okay.
What message from my guides? Okay, you get the Ask Your Guides card, please.
Ask your guides.
Okay, before we pick, I wanna read for her. So we're warming up our psychic muscles, guys. We're warming up. Okay, first of all, Nadoka Divine, I know you have a lot of spiritual energy around you. You're probably aware of it. I see a telephone, so I feel like somebody in the spirit world is popping up to communicate, and they're talking about what is essential. So I feel that your guide or whoever is helping you is very direct and to the point. So if you've had to struggle with doubt, it's just your ego, it's just the monkey mind. And you already have the awareness. So I just feel like the message for a lot of us, especially the women here, is to tread gently this next week. And it could be this is a time we're getting more connected to our internal guidance system. So your card is intuition. It's the inner child card. It's kind of far away. I'm showing that.
I'll read.
The door to your inner child is opening, and she walks through, bringing you the gift of intuition. You may not be entirely comfortable with this newfound source of insight and may not know exactly what to do with it. However, don't toss it aside or try to analyze it to death. Instead, accept this gift and play with it. Apply your intuition to non-threatening situations and learn how it works. Don't try to control it because you can't. It's exciting and powerful and is to be respected and followed, not tamed. Trust your inner child's willingness to share its magic so that you may benefit. The message for you is trust me. And you should check out my video on YouTube. It's called How to Help Your Inner Child, where the thumbnail shows what age are they. So ask yourself, how old is your inner child right now, and talk to her. She may be the one who is strong in your spiritual guidance. She may know the keys to help you with your sacral chakra next week. Can you scroll up a little bit?
Scroll up.
Because there's two people before. Okay, Yvonne. Yvonne is next.
Yvonne is next, okay.
Did she ask a question? Can you find it?
Well, if Yvonne doesn't post a question, you do general. Anybody not asking a question is going to be general.
But can you scroll down to see if it, or just pull this thing closer?
Yeah. Like this? There's nobody asking anything specific. Not that I
Any
see.
message, clarity, regards to love. Love question, Yvonne.
Okay.
I see Yvonne in the kitchen making food. I hear the word temptation. You know, a temptress sounds like an archetypal energy, which we all have. So Carl Jung explained we have an anima and an animus. So psychologically, we have a male and a female side to our mind, which is interesting. So we more often see an image of a woman being a temptress and a seductress. We do not see men doing that, but there are male archetypes of seducer type of males. I mean, how do men seduce? He's usually twirling some kind of pocket
Tempting.
watch.
Something that you thirst for to wheel you in and tempt you or challenge you. Or how brave are you? And if your ego wants that, you follow that. You want to show him, you know. And that's how they allure.
Yeah, it feels like it's like alluring.
Alluring and challenging your shadow. And if you have to prove something, you come forth, and that's how they usually get to those.
Yeah, I feel like
they want to manipulate.
I feel like there could be a potential that you get drawn to an attractive male energy where the beard is shaved really neatly and it's oiled and it's waxed or something.
Wow, that's what you observe.
Yeah, it's like look out, you know, where when guys get ready and they go to the barber shop and they do the fade right here, it's like, look out. Like, watch out. For women, they say, watch out for women who can do a really good cat eye with the eyeliner.
I mean, women can do it too. It takes, they always say it takes two to tango. I say in quantum physics, it takes two to tango.
I just feel like, I'm sorry, but I just feel a fiery love connection. It's like red hot. That's just what I'm feeling. Like,
well, somebody's sending. What you're saying is somebody is sending.
Around her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a crush. But they're hiding it pretty well.
They're hiding it.
They're not obvious.
The seducer?
Yeah.
So they're working her?
They're not, I'm not getting that they're obvious somehow.
I see a telephone call, a strong potential for a phone call. Whew. I see butter being put on bread. It's like it's lavished. Okay, so I'm going to leave that
now
with
it's
you.
Getting ready.
Yeah, it's a little bit. So let's go to the next week.
Mind porn?
Or let's pull the dragon card for her just to be sure. Just to be sure. Okay.
And
Royal blue and gold dragon strengthens you to stand in your power with wisdom. Awaken to your own majesty. Wear your cloak of power with pride. So you're in a power position, my friend. And I feel that your personal healing journey has gotten you here. So enjoy when somebody's trying to impress you, you get to be the judge and decide if that's for you or not. Hope that helps.
So who's next? Johnny?
Johnny Jones.
Yeah. Tara, you wait. Tara. Abele. I got the message for you, man. I already checked in for her like I have smack the answer.
Oh my God.
Good.
Okay. All right, so I'll get Johnny then. Okay. Johnny Jones looks so innocent.
Johnny!
Hey, I received something for her as well. The words building blocks.
Well, I don't know who received what for her. People have to be specific.
Johnny Jones wants a general reading.
It's a lot of Johnny Jones wants a general reading. General.
Johnny Jones. Okay. Like Johnny Jones.
Hey.
Sorry. It's from the previous reading.
Yeah, the typical Leos. You can't not do not.
Okay, so what's coming up for Johnny Jones is the word organic. This feels like an ongoing theme, organic.
Okay.
Just somebody who's checking the fruits when they go to the store and they want to make sure it's fresh. It's like a ritual maybe for them. just this feeling of cleanliness when it comes to health foods. It's like some people like health foods, but you want the really healthy health foods. I'm being drawn to your ankles. I don't know if you're a Pisces or if Pisces is coming up in your astrology chart or is affect the Piscean energy in the house of whatever of your astro chart. Something with the ankles comes up. Ankles and feet is Pisces, and so what that could mean for you. Let me see symbolism of ankles. I have to look it up.
It's where they take you. Something winged.
The emotions, balance, adaptation, ligaments, tendons, twists and turns of life, change. Some astrologers said that with a Capricornian, Saturnian placement now in the house, that Saturn's in its home of Capricorn, supposedly, your bones might ache. Ankles represent flexibility. So maybe you've been feeling vulnerable. So maybe do you turn to health foods when you feel vulnerable? Yeah, that's what comes up. I'll pull an oracle. Let's get a guides card. Okay, so the Truth Higher Self card pops up. And the card meaning is honesty, clarity, discipline, intellect. Your higher self is present, activating your powers of reason and intellect. It asks you to develop clarity and objectivity when looking at your life rather than interpreting events through the murky and distorted waters of emotion. Ooh, Pisces, right? Emotional. Strive to see the reality of what happened in the past so you can acquire a more accurate understanding of what's going on. You may notice that things that make you uncomfortable or challenge your ethics. Ask your higher self to give you the courage to stand up for your truth and address difficult situations at their core, rather than distance yourself or pretend you don't see the real problems because they make you uncomfortable. Like the child in the fairy tale, The Emperor's New Clothes, your higher self is motivating you to not only see life more deeply, but share your perceptions with those around you. This is the time, for example, to address your unbalanced budget and look for ways to cut corners. It's also the time to acknowledge your ever-expanding waistline and see what's really eating at you. This is when you need to step away from your emotions and dispassionately study the problems at hand so that you can come to a solution without blame and projection. Ask yourself what the problem is, not who the problem is. Only then you can begin to find real solutions with productive outcomes. Your higher self is sharpening your perception and clarifying your view so that you can make important and necessary changes at this time. As Carl Jung once said, when the diagnosis is correct, the healing begins, and your higher self's message is look for the truth behind appearances. Ooh, that card came up yesterday in my reading yesterday. So this is where you have to trust yourself. The intuition card came for Miss Divine. We have to be listening to our intuition this next week. Bam. Moose, it's your turn.
Okay, Tara. This question means alignment. So what you want to study is the show Interview with Extra Dimensionals on Gaia. Watch all episodes.
Yeah.
Don't say anything more.
I will. It's a good show.
Yeah, I know you're grinning. To learn the specifics of what you're asking, dive into that. And then I will read to you what it means. Kyanite is the crystal that's missing that helps you to align yourself to what you want to bring here. And that's your purpose. And you'll be successful. And you need to make it a business. You're asking for it. So kyanite, what is that? If kyanite has carried its powerful aligning and healing light into your life, you are being shown that something is out of alignment with your goals. purpose or chosen directions. No worries here. We just gave you one. We make decisions in the physical world based solely on what we have experienced or learned in our past. One day we must take a risk to do things a new way. Perhaps we will be the first forever to do it. This is the role of Kyanite for you today. Your spirit is ready for fine-tuning the aspects of your existence and your talents. So sit quietly and listen, but do not expect answers as a physical mind. These may be words the world has never heard. The Ascended Master Kuthumi may be calling on to you. The affirmation to activate you for what you're asking for is my mind and spirit are one. So basically, yeah, Krista's getting something. You will know. It's not like a telepathic message of a sentence that you'll hear. You will be like, ah. But you need to sit and meditate. Watch those shows, by the way.
Definitely meditate. I recommend transmission meditation, where you focus on ajna and you listen to your breathing and you tune it out. When Kuthumi pops up, we're starting spiritual school, and we're devoted to accessing higher planes. And once you go into those higher planes, there's a lot of activity there. So for those of you who are new or interested in channeling, I honestly recommend picking up my book so you can get the essence of what I've learned through this. It's a quite an intricate process, the channeling, and a lot happens when you open yourself in this way to being of service. So if you are just curious about channeling, then I recommend starting to channel for yourself or with a group. It's really best to find a psychic circle, a safe psychic circle that it has a prayer, a high energy, ego-less, so that you can do the actual work. And so I practiced on psychics.co.uk, for instance, doing mediumship and psychic readings, because there's different types of mediumship. So one is a mental mediumship, where you see, I've noticed a lot of people on YouTube who say give a channeled message or transmission, is they go with their mind and they get lots of pictorial images and they interpret that. So it's kind of like a data stream, and some people just tune in. A lot of people tune into the astral plane, where they have instant access to some higher energy, and that can be very impressive. So I think you got to also ask yourself in your meditation, is why am I doing this? But if you don't have these types of questions and you just feel a very strong pull to go higher, then maybe go to the library. You can run your hands along the books. I'll run my left hand, open my palm chakras, and try to feel the energy of the books and see which one is speaking to me, because your higher self can guide you towards certain teachers or towards certain groups and information and books. So that intuitive practice is what starts you off with the guidance. So for example, let's say you feel like, I want to be channeling. It could be that through your psychic development, you actually open up yourself up to healing powers or to other types of sensitivities like animal communication or feeling energies of crystals. And so allow yourself to start the journey with the help of Kuthumi. It's a very humbling experience when you connect with Ascended Master, because they give us homework.
Activation words real quick for her. Yeah. Alignment, universal mind, spiritual development, more training, healing, higher communication, pay attention to your intuition, throat chakra, you're speaking your truth or you're biting your tongue. Original thought, follow that first, not the secondary. You are a star child. You are a star seed. That's crystal clear. Calm. You have a brain imbalance. You tend to be so much in your head. You're overthinking things. I'm getting left hemispheres is overworked and this right hemisphere is underworked. Balances out.
So more creative.
Creative,
yeah.
feeling, love, energy, sexual energy, freely flowing. It's not freely. It's too conceptualized and preconceived. Oh, we're getting a lot of stuff coming in here. Anubis, you're being tested. Anubis.
Again.
Yeah, Krista is baffled how this comes in.
Like Anubis needs to take a nap.
Yeah, that dude is
Serious.
coming in to test you. The shackle god of the dog is asking you, do you know who you are? Do you know where you're
We
going?
need a statue of Anubis because he's always coming around.
Yeah, there's something with autism and dyslexia coming in, but that has to do with the high dimensional aspects coming. We feel kind of like sometimes when I do this, or you see me doing this, I'm tuning in actually really into myself. It looks weird, but I know exactly what I'm doing. So when you see me while I'm doing this, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing this, is I'm checking out what's happening, what's really happening, and that is where I have to tune this out and tune in. Thoth, the Atlantean. Read a book on Thoth the Atlantean. Study time. A Grandmaster Kutumi is also.
Start reading channel books.
Yeah, checking with you. And if you need activations and you feel low, get an essential oil, lime. That does this to you.
Ooh, it gets you. Yeah, that's always good for.
It gets you in.
For autumn.
So very specific. You have instructions. Watch those channel movies on Gaia called Interview with Extra Dimensionals. Yeah. Interview with ED by Ruben Langdon.
Yeah.
For study purposes, also in general, people, if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, check that out. That's more on the money.
And when you are working with your guides in your ritual, I recommend having a notebook or some kind of recording device ready, because there are times when we're more open and we can get the transmission. And it, depending on where we live, we have to do a lot of energy work to become conduits. That's why we join development circles.
Yeah.
And okay.
So that was that for Tara, and Krista is on next.
Stephanie is asking a question. Anything she needs to hear on praying, and also anything on praying mantis.
What can I say before Krista comes in there? Praying mantis is a very high developed, very higher dimensional surgeon in terms of DNA programming. Not so much even as in giving DNA, which in some parts we have Mantidian in us.
I hear the word school.
But they are, I think, past dimension 20 or whatever. Like they are so high up that you have to like, your personality is not important when they appear. It's past amoral. It's like you're floored. I witnessed them coming when I was in trance. I was floored for 2 hours in bliss. I couldn't move, but I wasn't scared. And the knowledge and wisdom is very highly advanced. It's very, 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 very up there.
Yeah.
And it's holographic. It's not really coming in physically. And that's why I also deal with
you have to trust your galactic code, Stephanie. There's a dimension in the afterlife that's made up of entirely numbers. You know how we were channeling the numbers together? There are also transmissions, and I found in Keys of Enoch the 4-digit number code. So what I was getting were constellation connections for people, but there are layers where that's the mode of communication. So if you're getting Mantidian transmissions, is, like I said, write it down, and it might not make sense to your logic mind, but just do it. Like get those of us who want to speak the light language, and
it's very high developed. Like a Mantidian being said, the Mantidian system is the Cassiopeian system. Many of the Mantidian incarnates came to Ethiopia. Hence, the queen, or the ancient queen of Ethiopia, is Cassiopeia. That has to do with the original relation to the long-necked ones with elongated heads, where some tribes in Africa still mimicking to this day. This mimic cult is called cargo cult. Also study that. What does that mean? Cargo cult. C-A-R-G-O. Elongated necks. In Africa, click language. Remember the Miriam Makeba songs, if you ever heard of that? When they talk like that, that's Mantidian transmission. Some of the Greys do that too. I think the Greys also have Mantidian DNA. However, they are click sounds. And that's how it's like a telemorse code that communicates higher dimensional knowledge.
I'm gonna bring the Animal Speak book that has
Yeah, get your food.
definition of mantis.
Before, yeah, and I haven't found any mantid books that go really into deep. Mantid is really high tech stuff that's like quantum entanglement, and then
It's kung fu.
it's almost like Madame Blavatsky, ascended master channeling some 1834 and like treatise of cosmic trigger, like really high dimensional. It goes really up. So praying mantis is also the power of stillness. Like the praying mantis sits and it's like, and it observes. Mantis has shown up in mythological aspects in love. In China, a system of martial arts evolved around the activities of the praying mantis. Kung Fu is based upon the imitation of animals in the aspects of nature. One form is the praying mantis form, and that's like, I studied that, so this is like how the mantis holds you. And praying mantis is like, say somebody is trying to hit you, and you got to imagine it as a metaphor in your head, and they come at you with a fist. The mantis does this and goes in like this. And it's how the mantis, defends or prays. Also prays. And we have all types of books that people wouldn't know.
What does that mean when his fists are up in the air? Why do you think? The praying mantis, she chops off.
You catch what's coming at you like this.
So she chops off the male's head.
Yeah, I don't understand what the significance of that is in teaching as a high elevation. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I can't use that because it's destructive. I don't know what that does. So
maybe it's an aspect if you look at it as energies.
What I can use is the power of stillness. What are the aspects of the animal that we can use? So the destructive, I don't know if you see anything. Like for me, it's like the mantis sits forever like this and observes. It's the power of not moving, not doing anything for a minute, not being seen, not being heard, not influencing, sitting.
I had a roommate who was highly intellectualized and organized and super skilled, spoke many languages, was really keen. She was such a hustler. And I said, you have something to do with the mantis people. And that night, a big brown one landed on her head.
Yeah.
So,
but again, here's learning to still the outer mind and go within. You can draw a lot of power.
So I think that for Stephanie is already
stillness.
Aware person, and she's a very spiritual person. So while that person was getting aware, it could be reverse, as in, since these readings can be top down for some of the star seeds, is maybe it has to do with your earthly kung fu. And what is your kung fu in this realm on the earth plane?
Yeah, but I'm getting stillness. Draw your power out of stillness, Stephanie. There's times when you just go, and even this,
maybe that's her power.
Sitting in form and holding a form. Mm-hmm. And if it's 5 minutes, requires intelligence. And if you can't hold that, then that's already where the deficits are. And from that, you draw your power. So again, stillness in your form. It's again, the mantis teaches how to still the outer so the within can tell you when it's time to act or what to act on its divine path. And with surety, accuracy, and great power. And we follow that, you can't lose. And mantis means prophet. Because they're praying. Mm-hmm. That's the translation. It's the Greek word, as in Latin, mantis. And that,
she posts channeled messages all the time as that are guidance.
That means prophet.
Ooh, so keep doing that, Stephanie.
So your prophecy comes from stillness.
Yeah. And she's a Pisces, so.
Yeah. So, and if you relate it to the Cassiopean system, when you want to get into the Mantidian system, then you do the mantid. The mantid sits on its back, like, you know, like this. You try to get into the form, and then sit there and try this. It sounds funny, but in Africa and in Asia, they mimic animals to get the spirit in. There's a book written by a woman, it's the shamanic poses, where this calls in Ka. Yeah. This directs Ka.
Well, the one
This
you
is not
just
a
did
joke.
stretches the hip muscles, and a lot of us women, we get tight in between in the groin area. Our muscles get very tight.
This is directing energies.
That's a yoga
you
sana.
know? This is unifying energies. You know, this in Egypt, when you see the statues, these are directing energy forces. Kung Fu, aligning energy lines, aligning energy forces. Very important.
Maybe you do Tai Chi by your window. It's summoning you to go outside to do Tai Chi in this position.
You can also look at Qi Kung. And it's going to be fine.
I'll go next.
So, okay, rock and roll. Next.
So should you use your psychic ability to help people, and can you charge money? Okay, the reptilian stem brain puts us in fight or flight, and you're talking about money, and next week is about balancing money with relations. So how do we balance this second chakra to help our root chakra with our psychic skill? Simple stuff. You could work with the colors orange and the color purple. This could mean as simple stuff as a purple hat, a purple scarf, a purple headband, visualizing the color purple, breathing and using those in your artwork and your creativity, meditating on that. Also with the orange for the second chakra, and having orange color underwear or pants, something like that. That's a simple.
Yeah, charge money. Don't misuse. Brim not. Do not misuse. Because if they trick you, they tell you how to get into people's minds. Assist and serve, and you'll be blessed. If
you're being of service, entities will work through you to help with the reading. That's why if you can get as humble as possible with your reading, you get helped. So if you're coming at it, because there are people who are logic-based readers, but you'll see most of the time if you're watching people do readings, sometimes their eyes go big, or you see a stream coming through and they're getting something. You can tell when somebody's getting something. I just want to say in the beginning is you can always do a couple free demos to get people interested and also get your psychic muscle working. So of course you can charge money, and you should charge money. You cannot just be reading for people and all day long, because that takes minerals as well, like vitamin B12 is necessary. Ormus. C-cell.
Where is he?
C-cell.
When he dropped.
The C-cell just dropped $99.
He dropped like $99. C-cell, you're an angel. You know it. He always supports. He's always generous.
Okay, so let's just finish. We have 3 people.
With or without the money, Cecil, I can't wait for you to move here. Set up shop. So when are you coming?
Okay, did we answer that question?
I think so.
Let me just pull a dragon card. Let me just pull a quick dragon card for Brimnot.
And I need new toothpaste if you get it.
Okay,
the mint.
Blue dragon from the Pleiades comes up. That's interesting. Some Pleiadians have worked with reptilians, and this has to do with the ancient Anunnaki story and the seeding of our planet, where the Anu and the Aku came together as warlike and angelic-like race, and that created Anunnaki, who in part created manipulated or developed the Adama being on this planet. So this is going into your Pleiadian stream timeline as opposed to a reptilian timeline, this card. But it's a dragon. So I see dragons as the evolved reptilian energies. which is why I like this card. And it asks you to prepare to accept source healing. So accept a heart activation, give and receive heart healing. So that's your guidance for your readings. So work from your heart. I hope that helps you.
Yeah, and for Cecile, like you dropped 100, I have to give you a reading, and I have to. When you get here, we got to sit down. This is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot. So
I would have to sit probably 2 hours with
that's
you.
like at least 30
Cecile,
minutes of reading.
We accept the donation. We won't do a reading here on this. I have to do an MP3 file, or I call you on Skype.
Because we know him. That's our friend.
Yeah, I know him. Usually all the people that already just know this, not to get more money out of people's pocket, but the generous people are the ones that are already in their own abundance. They already trust that. You can say those who spend 99 cents, it's evidence. Those who spend $5, those who spend $9.99, they get all of this back through other endeavors. So when I make good business and I go somewhere, I tip, because the art of giving lets you actually receive more, because you're ready for that. So if somebody comes in with 50 cents, then you're investing 50 cents in what you expect from the universe, and it's going to be exactly 50 cents.
So Sun Lyman wants to know, should I stay at this job?
Who's that? Where? Sun Lyman?
Right now, my intuition says yes right now. I see leaves and trees.
My intuition was like, it's in question.
But I feel for now is to stay put. For 7 weeks or 7 months. I see the number 7, and I see leaves and trees.
Like, ask yourself, Sun Lyman, is that really what you want? Is that your purpose? Are you making money like that? You see, when I do readings, I get like $150 an hour. When I do major readings, I get $250. When I do large readings, where it's like a little seminar that I have to give, I get $500.
I think
so. Look at your job modality that you do and what's your value and what you're worth. And if you're in agreement with that, cool.
I feel like there could be a woman at this job that makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, Sun is not really in alignment with that. It's not, he or she is not in agreement with oneself. The you and you doesn't agree. That's what I'm getting.
Okay.
It's a question. But if you are sure about your job, you don't ask. Right, first psychological.
But my intuition, I'm just following my intuition.
So your intuition says stay put?
Yeah.
For 6 months?
Yeah.
Okay. My add to your intuition is evaluate.
No, I got the number 7, so it could be weeks or months.
Yeah.
And
look at it if is that for you?
The reason why I say this is because when you give yourself a timeline, you're activating the decision making he was talking about for next week, which is you hone in, laser focus, and it's done. And once you make the decision, you say, well, if in 7 weeks this is still corrupting me, then you feel safe in your own decision making process. That's all I'm saying. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, evaluate what you're worth, your time, your value, and if this is your purpose and if this is ultimately your passion.
Let me pull a card.
And only you know the answer to that. And by that, you'll make a choice.
No, fool's wisdom.
Be safe, have savings for whatever process it is, and stay in that and stay with that. That'll guide your path, actually.
I'm going to pull you a card, though.
Yeah. But you must make the choice. A lot of people.
Okay, you get the beautiful. I don't know how this has to do with your job. The beautiful card. You are naturally beautiful. Okay. Sometimes spirit works in interesting ways. The beautiful is awakening you, urging you to nourish your spirit through a strong connection to exquisiteness around you. See it in nature, people, the eyes of those you love, the smile on your face, and the beat of your own heart. I think this has to do with the visions I was getting of a woman and these plants. Is maybe you're in a very beautiful location, and so while you're going through this internal strife, is you can appreciate at least the beauty that's around you, and that changes your focus. Yeah. Strange card, very strange card. But we have to do a lot of readings, my friends. We have non-dual Zen asking, can me and Portia better understand last Saturn return? I would appreciate it. I would love clarity on me and her future.
Well, the future looks at what have you been through till yesterday.
So
you know, you got tested. You were evaluated. How did you handle it? Was it a mess? Was it a freaking bullfight or blade against blade? What was it? Now you have time to breathe and look at it, what it was, and how you should proceed and continue.
I have a card.
That should be evident. So the tests are over now. Now it's just be concentrated on where you're going.
Folks, I have a new Oracle deck.
Oh,
I'm proud to
shoot.
announce. And non-dual Zen's going the first one that I read for is the Osho Zen Tarot. This is for relationships, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to pick a card. How to be
Who's your
love
teacher, Tara?
relationship.
Yeah.
How to be with your love relationship in order to achieve your goal. You get the healing card.
Like exactly how I said. The tests are over. Now they got to check into what do they want to do with what's the progress till the 28th, and from there forth, where you're going with that. That's your choice. Evaluate. Look at it. You know.
This is a water card, Mastery of Emotions. This is a king of water. Healing. What page? Oh, 56. This says, it's a time when the deeply buried wounds of the past are coming to the surface, ready and available to be healed. The figure in this card is naked, vulnerable, open to the loving touch of existence. The aura around the body is full of light, the quality of relaxation, caring, and love. Lotuses of light on the physical body and subtle energy bodies that healers say surround us. In each subtle layer appears a healing crystal or pattern. When we're under the healing influence of the King of Water, we're no longer hiding from ourselves or others. This is the attitude of openness and acceptance to help others to be healthy as a whole. So the practice for you is acceptance. Yeah, so surrender. It's a very tough, surrender is tough. And when you're surrendering, it's like, in relationships, there can be ups and downs, times when you're apart. But I just want to say, you guys, relationships are each unique because it's between you and the other person. And the dynamic is unique. So for some people get together and come back and forth. Some people are lovers that it's like they're family members. Some people are just platonic friends. And once every 2 weeks you talk. Some people you see them once every 2 years you talk. Some people are your domestic partners. You just want to live and breathe and shower with them every day. Some people is your family. You want to raise children and have pets together. And some people are there to just be of service to you because it's just this love. So I hope that gives you some clarity. And
I mean, what does this show or hide? I wanted to see this real quick on a side note. Sometimes weird shit pops up. What's this?
I'll read the thingy just to go more in depth.
Okay,
with that
so this
reading.
can be released because it's positive.
No, you carry your wounds. With the ego, your whole being is a wound, and you carry it around. Nobody is interested in hurting you. Nobody is positively waiting to hurt you. Everybody is engaged in safeguarding his own wound. Who has got the energy? But still it happens because you are so ready to be wounded, so ready, just waiting on the brink for anything. You cannot touch a man of Tao. Why? Because there's no one to be touched. There is no wound. He is healthy, healed, whole. The word whole is beautiful. The word heal comes from whole, and the word holy also comes from whole. He is whole, healed, holy. Be aware of your wound. Don't help it to grow. Let it be healed, and it will be healed only when you move to the roots. The less the head, the more the wound will heal. With no head, there is no wound. Live a headless life. Move as a total being and accept things. Just for 24 hours, try it. Total acceptance whatsoever happens. Someone insults you, accept it. Don't react and see what happens. Suddenly you will feel an energy flowing in you that you have not felt before. Wow.
So people are agreeing with our readings. That's good.
Nice. Cecile wants to know about 11-11-3 card reading.
This is like, what does Cecile say in the following?
He's all right. Let's do his reading.
Okay, we do this, but okay, when I see you, then I have to do more.
Yeah, let's go. We can do this, babe.
Okay, 3 cards. What do you want? 3 cards?
He likes the energy we both carry right now, so that's why he's
Okay,
on
so
it.
I'm giving him 3 cards. You read.
3 crystal card, babe, or 3 from a different deck.
You choose. I just play.
I'm just picking 1 crystal card. I'm picking 1 crystal card. I'm picking.
So I give Cecile some. I don't know if Cecile was pissed.
Give 1 card, babe.
So you're having Cecile. You're having a new vision. There's a new vision being installed of something new in a business, and something new that you actually have to create. There's a discrepancy in your inner that you need to harmonize, and something when the new vision is activated, that will connect you with the spirit of the earth. So let's see what Krista has to say to that. So there's something new. Either you're wanting that or you have to develop that. You have to build it. You have to invent that. Not for somebody, for service for the planet, but you have to build it somehow. You have to install it.
I feel like Cecile is waiting to connect with a love energy. We'll pull a Zen Tarot card. We're just asking the cards for help. Okay, the Mind card. Look at this one. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, what is this?
Look at that.
Well, we gotta go in there. What's Cecile?
Is this a major arcana card?
Yeah, well, Ascension is accelerating, Cecile. It's going to move faster. Also, with your plan moving here, it's going to accelerate it like crazy.
Clouds, mastery of mind.
This is the wave right now.
Okay, so here we go. This is what happens when we forget that the mind is meant to be a servant and start to allow it to run our lives. The head is filled with mechanisms, the mouth is ranting and raving, and the whole surrounding atmosphere is being polluted by this factory of arguments and opinions. But wait, you say, the mind is what makes us human. It's the source of all progress, all great truths. If you believe that, try an experiment. Go into your room, shut the door, turn on a tape recorder, and to give yourself total permission to say whatever is, quote, on your mind. If you really allow it to all come out without any censorship or editing, you'll be amazed at the amount of rubbish that comes spewing forth. The page of clouds is telling you that somebody somewhere is stuck in a head trip. Take a look and make sure it isn't you. This is the situation of your head. I see cycle, handles, and pedals and strange things that you have gathered from everywhere. Such a small head and no space to live in. and that rubbish goes on moving in your head goes on spinning and weaving, it keeps you occupied. Just think what kind of thoughts go on inside your mind. One day, just sit, close your doors, and write down for half an hour whatsoever is passing in your mind, and you'll understand what I mean, and you'll be surprised what goes on inside your mind. It remains in the background. It is constantly there. It surrounds you like a cloud. With this cloud, you cannot know reality. You cannot attain to spiritual perception. This cloud has to be dropped, and it is just with your decision to drop it that it will disappear. You're clinging to it. The cloud does not interest you. Remember it. What I'm getting, Cecile, is that your third eye is opening. And for example, one of your abilities might be to see things in layers, like looking in the sky. You might see the sky in different layers. You might see two-dimensional objects as having dimensions, which is, for example, practice when you look at a painting, you can see you just know which layers were painted first. So that's a physical counterpart to having your third eye open. If you start to see numbers lining up like triple digits, the 1111, this is also a sign of the third eye psychic faculty energy center. So whereas this is more of a reference to the mind, body, spirit complex, which is one of the Buddhic vehicles, as the third eye is an energy center. It's one of 7 major energy centers that that connects you to your sinus, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your vision, what is the truth, knowing what is really the truth, and your communication system with other life forms. And that's what psychic is, when you know what's going on with somebody else, where someone's mind is. So this is like, mental health. And if you imagine, so I mentioned art because the type of art you are attracted to is a reflection of you. For example, when I'm struggling with knowing how I feel, I start drawing with a color. I take Ra has this iPad, and I open the drawing program with this drawing pen, and I sit there and I go, what color am I feeling today? Or I just start drawing with a certain color and I say, that feels good to my eyes. And I replicate it on the pad to get in touch with myself. And when you get into the flow of that, it's like you're talking to yourself. You start to, it's like this faculty gets more and more enhanced. And it works through layers. So just like if you could see the external world in layers, you can see layers to yourself. So what was coming up also this weekend was, for a lot of us, was that for example, in the evening before you go to bed, you might want to look at pictures that give you pleasure. So images that give you pleasure. Why? Is because we create our reality in images. This is the psychic movie screen. When you're getting visions about what other people are doing, you get them here. And our job as psychics is to interpret it correctly. So when you know it's correct, is do readings for other people and try to talk to other people. Say, is this what you're going through? And you can do tests in that way. So in a sense, there must be an interaction that takes place so that you can validate your own abilities. So a sharing must happen. And that can come up when you start seeing two. So if you had ones lining up, that means you're on the right track. And once you're on the right track, your energy goes up, it gets out, because you have a loving energy field. So people get attracted to your energy. And how do you know this? You walk into the store, all of a sudden people start coming up to you. Excuse me, especially in certain cultures, it's more likely to happen. In America, it's more likely someone's going to start talking to you than someone in Scandinavia is going to just start talking to you. So in certain places, like spiritual places, high energy places, it's a faster manifestation. even for psychic knowledge. Is this true? I want to know what's going on. Universe, you give me the answer. So if you can physically manifest in this world what you want, then you can manifest in the third eye. And I think it's interesting. I would like to see how, Cecile, how you connect your heart chakra with your third eye chakra.
Yeah, like I said, when you come here, Cecile, we got to sit down and go into genealogy and gene keys and all that stuff. There's deeper modalities going on here that will take too much time here.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sensing. Subconscious settings, deeper understanding of where you are, where your settings are, and where you're going. So it'll help.
I feel like
So what's with Shy Queen? As I'm telling you,
wait a second.
Did you miss somebody?
Here.
You missed her?
Mm-hmm. She's next. But I'm just getting that for a lot of us, Cecile included, is that for some of us, it's time to go to school. And if you didn't think about that in September, you might feel a really strong pull now. So just saying for this next week is, Cecile and everyone else, is consider what path you're going, what path of knowledge you are taking. And if you've been feeling these impulses, maybe write them down in a journal. Like I said, come out of your meditation, go in with an intention to have your question answered and come out with an answer. And trust what you're given. As making that decision now, the super laser focus will yield results later. Whereas for the masses who are living on default, they follow in your footsteps. So when you're not an intentional creator and you're not making decisions, this is what I'm going to do, you follow the wave of what everyone else is doing. And people who are in leadership power positions know this. So they pick figureheads to channel their purpose that they want. And that's why when you have ascended masters like Kuthumi popping up, or you have a psychic telling you this and this and this, is listen to what's being given to you, because it's helping you so that you don't become reactive or a sponge to the collective energy of what everyone else is doing. So a lesser advanced psychic will go in meditation, tune into the collective conscious, and fulfill those roles and energies, living on what I call as default. Is you're not stepping into your creator godhood with a little g. You're not calling in higher self particles. You're like last minute, oh, the energy wants me to study. You're like, I'll just get any old book from the bookstore. And that's okay too. It's totally okay.
But it's going to be shallow. You know that.
Yeah, like shallow,
when you go
shallow
deeper,
psychics.
Yeah. The deeper you go, the crazier the amount of treasury you find. Treasure is never at the surface.
Here, it hurts here.
Treasure you will never find like the treasures, like the rare stuff. I don't know, like an emerald pearl or a labradorite pearl. You won't find that at the surface. But that has to do with you. So whatever divers are out there diving for is within your own consciousness. You're diving in your own consciousnness.
Yeah.
And the deeper you dive, the more treasures you bring forth. That's how I bring forth my gadgets and machineries. I shut off and go within, and then these things show up of what I can possibly do. What already is there. It's a form of assembly of how you put these treasures together to bring forth the elevation of conscious advance and human potential. So your question, how far are we going to go, because we're running overtime?
Okay, I think we have 3 readings left.
Okay, good.
Dara says, I've always been an observer of humanity and wanting to help, yet I'm so awkward. to connect and make friends. Can you direct me the path?
So one thing is, I always say, don't try to connect. Find peace and let the connection find you. Much more powerful than you trying to go and engage. Become the event instead of seeking an event. That's the power is within, that you do not have to be awkward trying to make friends. Be yourself and sit. Like I said before to somebody else, the power is in stillness. Sit with you and let it happen. And imagine yourself what it would be like to have friends in your mind and watch that unfold.
And be
focused.
awkward. Be awkward, because
Yeah, be yourself.
you can get approached by somebody. If somebody approaches you and starts giving you presents and is excited by your energy and just starts buzzing around you, you didn't even have to do anything.
Yeah, what's
because
awkward? What's awkward?
Awkward is self-monitoring.
Yeah, awkward is when you believe that somebody says so.
Yeah, somebody
Awkward,
said that to you.
Awkward
Yeah.
might not be awkward. You know? The
Yeah.
guy who sits on a roof, licks his finger, and checks the wind, and the other one thinks, why are you licking your finger? You're insane? Well, this one thinks it's awkward, but maybe that's not awkward. So awkward is in
It's
the
a
eye of the
perception.
beholder.
Awkward is in the eye of the beholder. That's good.
You know, I do crazy stuff. Is that awkward?
Okay, let's see.
Oh, you're so punctual. You're so German. No.
Let's get
I've
the
been on
fool's
time.
wisdom. Let's get the fool's wisdom.
I've been timed and I've been on time. Or you're always so good. You're always so positive. Is that because you have European? No.
The mercy fool come up. The mercy fool. This one feels like little gifts and tendencies. Remember, the mercy theme came up. Compassion. Grace. Sorry, the energy of grace. Being graceful. What does that look like to you? This has to do with compassion, relieving suffering. The mind judges harshly when life is tough. Being sensitive and gentle with yourself. No one is perfect. You're here to learn. So forgiveness and humor. Humor is so freaking important. If you have Cancerian and moon energies in your chart, those are funny people. They laugh a lot. So hang out with a Cancerian friend and you learn that being awkward, you just start laughing at yourself. And let me tell you, when you laugh at yourself, you become attractive. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
don't take yourself so serious.
don't take yourself so seriously.
Take it with a grain of salt and be like,
Yeah.
So who next? Shy Queen? Might have a simple answer. Let's see what Chris says. I'll say it has to do with the time and date. What's the calling of what you're creating in the now? And who has more willpower, you or your boyfriend? That will determine what gender will come out.
Okay,
And
I'm
that
just
cannot
gonna
be
guess.
predicted?
I like to guess. I'm guessing boy. That's just my guess. I've gotten them right many times. So that's just my guess. So let me know.
Yeah, I'm
if
not
that
guessing.
happens.
I'm saying what purposefully needs to be there. The two of you will create on that day. And then you work with that and you will love it. Whether it's male or female, you will love it. It's going to be wondrous. And don't rush. Take your time. Take your time. That's it.
Okay, so we
No
have
more.
one more. It's where are my origins? As long as you're familiar, Orion, I feel for sure.
Pull a galactic card. What does galactic do? And then see what planetary system pops up with one card we pull. Then we know part
We have
of
an
it.
active party today.
Hey, a lot happened. What can I say? Yeah, you just pick one card and we figure out what planetary origin we have. Resonating.
Okay, so it's 108 cards. Try to shuffle that. Okay, so
It says in game
this
mode.
deck or this deck?
This deck.
This deck or this? This deck or this? Pick a number between 1 and 12.
7.
Earth, Lemurian era, past.
So you're Lemurian. They're not giving us planets for you. Lemurian. Study that.
Earth stuff.
Your stuff goes far back.
Yeah, this is a while back.
And they're saying you're not ready to get that information yet because you're too emotional about it. So we're going to end it with Lemuria.
Feminine principle in a planetary cycle. Civilization was awakened to its spiritual self and its place in the universe. It was a time of peace, compassion, and enlightenment. Beings from other star systems openly walked the planet and assisted the development of humans. This feminine cycle of civilization is now returning, so we are seeing old ways crumbling. This is a natural cycle of planetary development. You pull this card because you have a strong connection to the Lemurian era that is affecting your life now. Let yourself explore this idea in more depth. Many have called Lemuria a continent, but we refer to it in this deck as an era. This says 13 to 26K years ago. I found and researched 373,000 years ago. What do I know? This was an era when our star family was here openly. Genetic projects were being finalized. The tutoring of new humans in vegan mysticism was being accomplished, and there was an attempt to aid humans in becoming a sovereign species able to enter the galactic community. I knew they had ascensions before on this planet.
Yeah, that's happened several times.
But underlying all of this was the fact that souls incarnating on Earth as humans had not yet healed the polarity dynamics that they brought to Earth from the stars. This revealed itself later in the Atlantean era. If you pull this card, it may mean that a lifetime or a guide from this era is calling to you. It could also mean that a part of you is longing for a more balanced spiritual life, as is symbolized by the Lemurian era. If this is the case, it is essential to do what you need to do to take care of yourself and meet your spiritual needs in the here and now. The Atlantean era on Earth is ending and a new era is beginning that symbolizes an integration of the energies of both Atlantis and Lemuria. Reconnecting to this Lemurian energy will help you in your future spiritual growth. So look into also Atlantis for guidance on what to do. And before we end, I want to pull the weekly energies for this upcoming week. So I will start that off with a galactic card.
It's work week. Projects, endeavors, activate. Step forward.
Yeah.
Do it.
This is for everybody. It's courageousness, Lyra card.
And
presence.
It's your work. Not working for the man. It's what are you doing for you.
Everybody needs some courage.
Yeah, you need to get up and work
Leo
for you.
King said that he said something about bravery, remember?
Yeah.
The Leo said that.
Yeah, well, you need to be brave to step into what you have to do for you. Not everybody's going to give consent and say that's cool. Some people will think you're nuts.
Well,
some will get fired.
A symbol for the Lyran royal family is lion. Lion are often equated with courage. One of the most admirable qualities of Lyrans is their immense courage in the face of adversity. The human race shares this quality as part of our Lyran heritage. There is great courage in the human heart, and this card asks you to tap into that courage and apply that strength in the areas of your life where you need it. If you can't tap into it, act as if you can. In doing so, your ancient Lyran memory will reawaken to give you the strength that you need. True courage isn't ego-based. Often the biggest act of courage is to let go. Wow. Yes, so it's important to learn the difference between courage and foolhardiness. Courage doesn't mean pushing against all obstacles to create what you want. Yeah.
This concludes the reading. We have a lot of people in the chat.
Well,
there's more coming. You know, when I'm back, I will do also my own show. Bring that back. I'm assisting Krista right now.
Yeah.
But I'm coming back next week. So.
We pulled a card for the week already from the Dragon card, so second chakra creativity. Now we're going to pull a guides card for everyone for the upcoming week. I just feel we need an extra boost because we were tested so hard.
Yeah.
Some of us might be
still coming
tired.
out of that. It was like yesterday the tests ended, so.
Another inner child card came up. I've never pulled this one before. This is the imagination card. And I love this dark blue artwork, which has a child catching the stars. And there's another one just sitting, watching, and enjoying the other one going higher, just dancing on the stars. This is really nice.
Good.
So this says, nocturnal dreams, daydreaming, reverence, fantasy. Inner child spirit knocking at your door, inviting you to step away from a serious life filled with too much work and drudgery and allow yourself some well-deserved playtime. Your life is presently over-controlled by others' needs and too much burden with responsibilities. Consequently, you're losing touch with your inspiration and creativity. That's the second chakra next week. Listen to your inner child. Take time to daydream, fantasize, visualize, wonder, and explore. Like I said, look at your favorite artwork. Collect the little postcards from Etsy, make an inspiration wall, print out your favorite Instagram pictures, whatever. Feed your inner child with art classes, theater tickets, concerts, and other types of recreational activities. If you don't honor your inner child's needs, he will get your attention by throwing one heck of a childish tantrum, manifesting in a chronic bad mood or a nasty depression. You need this magic right now. Your inner child's message is come play with me. So we were first shown the lion. And if you think of lion cubs playing together, they tug at each other's ears. They sleep in the sunshine in packs. That the women look over the packs. So the community energy of the card we pulled for next week could have you, maybe you want to join a women's circle next week. Even men, like if there's a yoga class and you think, oh, only girls do that, maybe you want to give it a try. Maybe you want to be the only guy in that yoga class who's the brave one, and you have a heck of a time. A whale of a time, as they say in England.
Yeah, so on.
I had a whale of a time.
So we conclude this now with discipline, or you're gonna go on.
I'm still pulling 2 cards. Okay, wow. So the recluse, the reclusive fool pops up this is about retreating. Next week, step away from the world and seek solitude. That's next week. It looks like we're just going into art mode. All I want to say about that, guys, it's almost 11:11, is that I'm so lit about decorating with Egyptian stuff. I'm looking at these golden candle holders, or painting them gold, getting thrifted ones, and getting some crystal balls on them, just doing a whole background setup for my Orion Council channelings. And trust me, as a double Leo, I redecorate my office every month. All right, but
may I be relieved?
Yes, thank you so much.
I assisted Krista, so I feel my energy is like
go
good.
Have some breakfast or something. Treat yourself.
I feel like I'm being called to go in right now.
Yeah, go
because there's so much going on. I have to do something. So I'm gonna do meditation, lay down. If something is calling me in, and when Krista sometimes gets a light language and she wants to speak, follow that current and get something in, like something wants to communicate to me. So I'll get that. Thank you. I love you so much, people. Much love to everybody.
The reclusive fool beckons you to take a big step away. Bye. From the crazy world and seek the centering that comes from solitude. You need time alone to meditate, reconnect with your spirit, and remember the source of all your needs, the divine creator. While it may seem foolish to step away from the demands of the moment, taking the time to do so is necessary to genuinely realign with your truth, your wise self. Without the benefit of solitude, you risk being overwhelmed by the doubts and fears of the outer world and losing your confidence and direction. Call a temporary timeout from your life and go inward. Create the separation from others that you need in order to tune into your inner guidance. Have no hesitation or guilt in temporarily retreating from the world, for it will help all things in the end. Follow your instincts and trust the reclusive fool who's calling you back to yourself right now. There's a lot of guidance coming in for this week. Osho Zen Tarot card for the upcoming 7 days. Wow, the patience card. Wow, look at that. This is a suit of rainbows. It's the 7 of rainbows. There are times when the only thing to do is wait. The seed has been planted, the child is growing in the womb, the oyster is coating the grain of sand and making it into a pearl. This card reminds us that now is a time when all that is required is to simply be alert, patient, and waiting. The woman pictured here is in just such an attitude, contented with no trace of anxiety, she's simply waiting. Through all the phases of the moon passing overhead, she remains patient, so in tune with the rhythms of the moon that she's almost become one with it. She knows it is a time to be passive, letting nature take its course. But she's neither sleepy nor indifferent. She knows it is time to be ready for something momentous. It is a time full of mystery, like the hours just before the dawn. It is a time when the only thing to do is wait. We have forgotten how to wait. It is almost an abandoned space. And it is our greatest treasure to be able to wait for the right moment. The whole existence waits for the right moment. Even trees know it, when it is time to bring the flowers, and when it is time to let go of all the leaves and stand naked against the sky. They are still beautiful in that nakedness, waiting for the new foliage, with a great trust that the old has gone, and the new will soon be coming, and the new leaves will start growing. We have forgotten to wait. We want everything in a hurry. It is a great loss to humanity. In silence and waiting, something inside you goes on growing, your authentic being. And one day it jumps and becomes a flame, and your whole personality is shattered. You are a new man. And this new man knows what ceremony is. This new man knows life's eternal juices. And that, my friends, is the new moon on the 28th in Libra. If you haven't checked it out, go find out what the new moon is. But this is a super harmonious moon, which has to do with beauty and making things right. And I know a lot of you from the past chats, some of you I met in real life. And if you're a good person, which I know you are because you guys are super benevolent, loving, is you've done a lot of work. You got past this Saturn energy, and people have been really, really mean to you. Also, you've maybe experienced some losses, some death. You've explored new dimensions that is like giving birth to, this extraterrestrial world, and you waiting for the world to embrace you. It's like being a baby. And that is, I feel, the in-between energy as the planets shift course after so long. And all I can say is congratulations. You're okay. You have a lot of skills and gifts that are important for the world. You know that you deserve those gifts from Creator because you were created in Creator's light. And those tools that you have been using for so long, the good news is you can renew those tools. You can get a new one. If one was used up and is withered, you can replace it with a new improved version. If you do not have the mobility to do that, the energy says wait. And so where energy needs to be corrected beginning on Monday, Tuesday, is you should see some I feel karmic retribution. And this is why the numbers have been lining up. Some really big, heavy energies have left us now, and they go to where they need to go. So in the Ascension game, where you have third dimensional players, fourth dimensional, astral worlds, and then fifth dimensional and beyond heavenly worlds, we play for only so long certain games. And at some point we graduate, we move on, and we never have to go through that lesson again. We do not have to repeat these circles, like running in circles, we have graduated to a new dimension. So hold that awareness. And yeah, I would love to read for you. And for those of you who are needing to have your breakfast, just know that the teachings and all the things we've done with our spirituality is to help us operate and function at these higher levels here. So what I've been teaching in the latest YouTube videos and where this online channel is going is how to oscillate at a higher frequency. And we are getting past, we are moving beyond simple functions. So when you are processing the recent traumatic people that might have been around you, or entity attacks, whatever is, these are also more simple program codes. And when you are a higher being, you realize that they can be eliminated. That might sound really mean, but it's almost like a bit code that you realize you can just delete it. And that takes a lot of awareness and a lot of internal Kung Fu energy. So if you see people leaving you, remember that those are collectives of energy. So when Anubis comes and they want to spit hatred at you or whatever they're doing, spit fire, sliming you, when you're sliming your plasma body with their negativity, is that represents a collective, a group. So when let's say you're fighting a battle with one person, just one person, it's been very hard, a long time of struggle, is you had a whole collective up against you. And this is where the Egyptian gods come in, which is why I'm very excited to remind you guys of this energy, because I'm convinced that the ancient Egyptians had groups of beings ascended, and I'm convinced that extraterrestrials were in contact with them, and I am convinced that Egypt is a lot older than what we've been taught, and I'm convinced that this the magic assists us into living as gods on Earth. Kate, I will pull you a card, and I'll pull you a liquid crystal. This is Ra's deck. I need to learn some of these. And saying the gods' names, they have the names of the gods in this deck. But with the whole idea of ascended masters, is they help us to look at our own selves. Where do we want to go? A friend of mine asked me, Crystal, what do you want to be known as? And that makes you think when you're sitting with somebody doing a reading like this. And it's a time where you reflect. It's like going to a healer. You reflect on you. And I feel that this next week also, we might get called to work with some sort of healing faculty to recoup after such a tumultuous time. So for Kate, your card is that of a smoky quartz. And this is an earthlight card with the crystalline being Uranomel. The Crystal Diva. As a loving expression of the divine, only perception and judgment contain this fact. Have trust, and I will lead by example, for my radiant light is hidden just as yours. Let fear fall away. Take my hand through the light-filled state of physicality, and know there are no wrongs and rights, only love. No matter the bonds of physicality, the spirit will soar with or without your intent. Let me anchor self-trust and walk you to the cliff of times past, where you can willingly spread your wings. You will soar, and God will walk the earth once more with a little g. In your personal completion of physicality, warm fires of spirit await you. This has to do with the ability to ground the spirit into the lower physical chakras, acceptance of others, to find equality, balance, unity. In old Atlantis, the high priests and priestesses of smoky quartz were among the most powerful healers, holding a mastery over physicality and few other positions offered. I get that this card is a time where you can have a very strong transmission from the heavenly realms this next week. So this is why the other cards were suggesting that we retreat. So for Kate, you might be getting a download of knowledge. It says, don't go to Egypt without smoky quartz. This also relieves sacral and pelvic areas, so that's super helpful. And it helps us with the confidence. So with the Lyra card, that continues that theme. And for ungrounded, insecure, depressed, tired of life, fearful of change, this helps. And it helps with emotional healing and the redefinition of your physical space. She has come to aid you on an already active journey deep into the physical self to find the light that gives you life. Once recognized, you'll shine that fire into the darkest areas of self. In smoky quartz's embrace, the darker and more physical, the better. To her, darkness is a measure of light content, light that you can reclaim and use as fuel towards the goal and happiness you've chosen for yourself. In the sacred embrace, offer up your darkest, most difficult and painful aspects. Leave no stone unturned. Let go and be free. Never again will you see physicality as separate from spirit, for it is the space of supreme realization of the united oneness. Affirmation is, my physical world is filled with light. So the key words are earth light, self-acceptance, physical embrace as divinity, grounding, emotions, tired of life, disrespectful of life, life change, release, healing, physical journey, Osiris, Lord Sananda, rainbow serpent. And the animal totem is the crocodile alligator card. And the alligator god is, I think it was Seb. So let me just check the Egyptian alligator god. Oh, Sobek. Okay, Sobek. It's a protective deity with apotropaic qualities that has to do with airplanes. A type of magic intended to turn away harm or evil influences, depicting misfortune, averting the evil eye. So good luck charms, amulets. So, talismans and amulets are always a good reminder and affirmation. So if you want to put a Hamsa, Kate, or a sacred symbol, like I know you love Harry Potter, maybe you want to get the Deathly the Hallows, the Harry Potter triangle. That could be, if that's a protection symbol. I like to create dream catchers as a good affirmation. I just put a dream catcher up, and this invoked was for protection against the dangers presented by the Nile. So I feel like it has to do with the emotional energy. So in Kamombo, in Pleiadian Agenda, they explained that the reptiles were used as sort of psychic conduits because they have a long tail. So they were in touch with the earth magnetic pulses. And but they depend on the light to get their source of nourishment. That's why you see lizards basking in the sunlight. If that lizard energy pops up, it has to do with the unexpected. And so this is why we have our sacred rituals to somewhat create a psychic shield as we go do the internal work, which is why these cards suggest having a sacred space around you, because it's almost as if let's say your personal, your bedroom, your office is like a little Merkabic temple that you use when you go out into the world. So for me, it's the images on the fabrics, the celestial moons and stars that's in that art postcard, because it's like you carry those visual projections when you go out into the physical world. And So this is a highly psychic card and has to do with having a fluid nature. Very interesting. Let's see, anything else? This is in the pyramid text, and the old kingdom. Oh, okay, so the father was Set. So sunrise and sunset. So this is like a night with the smoky quartz. That's a nighttime energy. So the darkness is like a very feminine energy of the void, and that is a state of being empty. So you may want to consider a practice of emptying your mind and challenging yourself to do that for at least 10 minutes. Sobek was thought to have assisted Isis when she gave birth to Horus. So you may be finding yourself assisting the divine feminine. So you may look at that within yourself, empowering your feminine side, or actively in the world, being of assistance to other women. And doing a meditation on sovereignty. I feel that it could be a time of also beautifying. Obviously, is a strong pull with the new moon in Libra, in the sign of Libra, is you might be feeling like you really want to decorate and ornate your physical self also. This is hilarious. The Greeks wanted to rename a city called Crocodilopolis. That's so hilarious. But the energy of the crocodile is ferociousness. And that is a very regal energy. So, for example, the images that you receive with these sorts of transmissions can be channeled through your personal art as you do the kind of closed behind the scenes energy work. So the feeling that I get overall, and especially, I'm trying to figure out how that plays out in Kate's life, is there's this sort of, it's not mystery, but it's sort of a private, it feels like a sense of privacy that is very strong. And you may the Scorpio energy that's coming in suggested that some of us really want to express through our throat chakras how we are feeling. But the overall feeling I get for those of us here is the sort of like a closed in. That's why I was saying, you guys, I feel, Kate, and if you were here earlier, I was talking about finding like-minded groups next week is in the stars for us. So just, I feel like this is all, Kate, you can relate to this. So look at your favorite art pieces at nighttime. If you need to redecorate your personal space or your physical body, it's totally fine this next week. For those of you who are struggling with work, give yourself a time limit, execute your plan, stick to it, get a calendar, get a planner, and make the decisions on Sundays. Today's Sunday. On Sundays, I love to plan the week ahead, and it helps me on those days that are feeling like there's more confusion. And like I said, for Kate, is look at sacred symbols, things that make you feel protected, but also venerated and sovereign. And this just feels like a highly charged spiritual time and there could be an inclination to behave in a slightly elitist way, and we certainly do not want to come across as elitist. But if you are very good at something, now is a time to either refine that or complete. Like, I feel that some of us might be a little late in jumping on the bandwagon that we need to jump on to learn our spiritual, to accelerate spiritually. So if you feel like, oh, Krista, that's what the dark night of the soul was, that's what the Saturn taught me, was what I'm good at, and you already know it, Leo King says you're going to be, if you've started the work, you're going to be fine the next 20 years. It's just going to amplify and gather up. And if you're feeling like you're, in some ways, you're crumbling, then this is either truth being revealed, or you really made some anxiety-based decisions that is totally not on your path. But I do not feel this energetically for us. I feel that a lot of you are lucky people who are simply getting more organized, and it just feels like this group here that's listening to our transmission today just feels very highly organized group of specialists, and it's a challenge for me to cyclically read what your specialty is. But from the nature of the emanation that I'm getting for you, like the guy earlier, he was talking about the essence. It's like, what is your essence? So with the Libra, is you are a walking, breathing, a tunnel of your higher self light. And what we're trying to constantly do in this life is to channel more of this higher dimension into this physical world. It's this ongoing eternal work where we can't just, we're not here to live in suffering. We're here to thrive. And the self-acceptance is key. And if you are surrounding yourself by people, things, and thoughts, ideas, and music that helps you to channel that, go with those symbols, go with those messages, go with those energies. And anything else that is trying to make you feel small, anything else that is trying to slow you down, anything that is negative and upsetting for you and pulling you away from that energy, is cut it off, delete it, block, and continue. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed our Sunday transmission. It's been great. Thank you so much for the generous donations. And for those of you who want to stay up to date with my work, I am active on Instagram at Galactic Fairy. That's Galactic FAERY. You can read Orion Council quotes, also spiritual teachings, little tidbits of the upcoming online course. I have not sent out a newsletter in a couple months. I'm very late. I apologize for that. I have over 1,000 people waiting to hear from me. But you guys know that every Sunday we do these pop-up demos in the AM, coming to you from the Southwest of the United States. The path of the inner child is awake in here with us, and I channel these energies into the dream catchers that are on my Etsy store. So that you will see, I'm next making a black dream catcher, and we've got now organic sulfur samples. So I'm waiting to get some jars and labels. I'm going to be selling 4-ounce jars of that, which is methyl sulfonyl aka MSM. And what that does is it's 99.9% pure crystalline form instead of a calcium coated capsule. It is something you mix into a glass of water to assist with oxygen transport across the cell membrane. I'll have a YouTube video explaining the science of that. 5 million people have gotten better with it. Some extreme healings have taken place from people who have reported getting better with it. You pee it out in 24 hours out of your system. I didn't explain this. I have little $3 sample package that you can order with your Ormus, with your dream catcher, with your pins, stickers, and buttons. The college students with your Starseed tote bag, with your Esoteric cassette mixtape, with your signed copy of Orion Council Speaks, Starseed Survival, and all of those can be found through my website, KristaRaisa.com. It's been great. I love you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. So drink water after today's reading. It's a lot of energy, and I'll see you guys.